Welcome to the More to Life podcast. I'm your host, Kate Philpott, and I'm a multi-passionate, big dream enthusiast. Here, we're all about becoming your best self and achieving your biggest dreams. Because your dream life does not only have to exist inside your mind. So, if you're an absolute boss of a woman looking for practical strategies to create your dream life, as well as an abundance of tips and tricks to level up your mindset and become limitless, then this is the podcast for you. So listen along, share a screenshot of the episode on your Instagram stories, and tag me at More to Life Kate, and I would love to shout you out. I'm so excited for you to absolutely up-level whatever part or parts of your life that you want to. It's time to get more out of your life, honey. Welcome to episode 2 of the More to Life podcast. Today's episode is all about dealing with negative situations, how you can actually get through it first, but also use it to thrive. Because the thing is, if you are a human, you have had to deal with some kind of shitty situation in life, and realistically, it's probably going to happen again. We're human, it happens. But I don't want this episode to feel like, oh my god, life is awful, so many bad things happen. No. No. Let's have a chat about it. It is possible to move through these situations with a ridiculous amount of ease and to come out stronger on the other side and not let it stop you from achieving whatever bad bitch dreams you've got. All right, so before we get into it, if any questions come up while you're listening, take note of them, because in every single episode I'll have a Q&A segment where I'll pick 1 or 2 questions and answer them at the end, and everybody can benefit. Okay, but first segment, win of the week. Oh, a huge win for me in the last week was signing my first ever patron. It broke down some mental barriers that I had, honestly, about like earning money and would people pay me and all this stuff. And because I've broken that down now, I feel like I can step into a whole new level of powerful bad bitch energy. So let me know what your win for this week is on Instagram. And other than that, let's get into this episode. Okay, so dealing with negative situations and circumstances. I've got a 3-step process for you, okay? So first of all, you want to ask yourself, when something quote unquote bad happens, why is this the best possible thing that could possibly happen to me? Okay? Now, I'm not going to say that this part is easy, but I am going to say that it's fucking transformational. Let me explain, and I've got a very personal anecdote to share as well. There is good and bad in everything, and what you focus on expands. And yes, sometimes it is easier to focus on what negative things are there, but trust me, this is on this when you actually do this, everything will fucking change. How you're going to implement it is, when you go through whatever this thing is, grab a piece of paper or a journal or even just the notes in your phone. Write down all the reasons why this is the best possible thing that could happen. Okay, time for a little anecdote. In 2019, I moved to Australia on my own. And I won't get into the personal details on how this ended up happening, but I had a guy over there waiting for me, basically. Now, full disclosure, I was madly in love with him. He was really big into the personal development world as well. Really funny, really passionate, kind of quirky, and just I was mad about him. He actually lived in Perth, but I was going straight to Sydney, and obviously that's like a 4-hour plane journey away. So the plan was that he was going to spend my first month in Sydney with me, like living with me basically. So knowing that he was going to meet me in Sydney airport made that 24 hours of traveling so much easier. So like my heart was so full, it was full of joy. I was just like, I've never been so excited in my life. Also because like I was going to Australia and I was about to embark on this crazy adventure. But let me tell you, it was crazier than anticipated. Trust me. So we met up at the airport when I landed, and that first day was great. It was honestly so incredible to catch up with him in person. Like, we'd been talking on the phone and video calls and all this. It was honestly like a movie. And that was on the Friday night, right? So the Saturday, I woke up and I mean, I have never been so excited in my life. I had like the who I thought was the love of my life, right beside me. And I was in Sydney and I was independent. I was living this like incredible dream life. And I just wanted to go out and explore and walk around and like find a cute coffee place or find some nice place to go have breakfast. And he didn't want to come with me. In fact, he couldn't even get out of bed. Now, there's a whole other reason for that aspect of it, and that's that's probably a story for another day. But regardless, I was like, well, I'm in Sydney, I'm gonna go explore. So that happened, and the same thing happened on the Sunday. He wouldn't really get out of bed, whatever, the whole other story. So on the Monday then, I went out for to do a bit of a food shop. And I actually was having a really it was my first really difficult moment. I felt very uneasy. I was like, "Oh my god, my mom, dad, brother, my whole family and all my friends are back in Ireland and I'm 13 hours ahead of them time difference wise." And I was really feeling, "Oh god, have I bitten off more than I can chew here?" And I went back to the apartment and I just needed a little bit of support, a little bit of "you're strong, you can do this." But what actually happened was the total opposite. I got back and I was packing away the groceries, being my little domesticated woman, and he says to me, "Oh, I'm going back to Perth today." And I was first of all, I was really confused. I was like, "Well, what do you mean?" Because like I'm not going to Perth. I'm staying here. And basically he was like, "Yeah, no, I'm leaving. I'm going back to Perth, and I'm not coming back." And I was my heart fell out of my fucking ass, if I'm totally honest. Long story short, he left. I had my heart broken. Well, it felt like it was shattered to pieces. It was 2 a.m. in Ireland, and that's where my entire support network was. I hadn't even gotten over the jet lag, right? And I had nobody to turn to. And I was alone in this city. Like I didn't know anybody there. When I tell you I wailed. Oh, I wailed. But then I realized that I was faced with a decision. This was a make or break moment for me. I could have easily let this consume me and let it destroy any any self-esteem I had and ruin my whole year in Australia. That could have happened. Because realistically, if I was back at home and my heart was shattered in that way, it could have taken months or maybe even a year or years to get over this guy who I genuinely thought was the love of my life. So that was option one. Let it destroy me and ruin my whole year in Australia. Option two, more difficult, but option two was I'm going to use this to better myself. I'm over here in Australia. I have this opportunity to grab life by the balls right now. And grab I did. I what I did grab was my A4 pad and I wrote down the question, why is this the best possible thing that could ever happen to me? Now, I will be honest. This was the last thing I wanted to do in this moment. But I started off small. Like, I only have to buy groceries for myself. I get to choose what I have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I only have to do my laundry, you know. As I got through the list of small things, they turned into bigger things. And by the end of it, I was crying with happiness. I shit you not. I got over this heartbreak in about an hour. I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's true. That is honestly probably the proudest moment of my entire life because I really was left in borderline traumatic circumstances. And yes, I know that this is a very extreme example, but this can be applied to anything. And I will just clarify again, it is the last thing you will want to do when you feel like you're going through it. It is the last thing you'll want to do. But that is all the more reason why it is so powerful. Trust me on this. And I'm also just going to give one or two less extreme examples just to get your mind firing on how you can actually apply this to your life. So, I mean, you could do this if you tripped and fell in public, or you spilt coffee on your white jumper, maybe you had a friendship breakup, maybe you got COVID. Anything at all, you can do this. Okay, so that's just step 1, right? Step 2, realize that it's an opportunity to learn. So, why is this important? Well, there's a fucking lesson in everything, okay? As I mentioned in the last episode, knowledge is power. Focus on what you can control, which is how can I learn from this? So, I guess the best way to kind of implement this is literally ask yourself that question: what can I learn from this? Or how can I improve for next time? Whichever resonates better with you. And this can, again, be as big as a major heartbreak in a new city, a new hemisphere, or spilling coffee on your white jumper. Or, you know what? Even spilling coffee on your desk when you're like, oh, I don't have a lot of time. I can't just be spilling coffee. What can I learn from this? How can I improve for next time? Hey girl, I'm just popping in here to let you know about the More to Life Patreon, which is also just launched in conjunction with this podcast. If your relationship with your dreams right now is full of sexual tension, but not a whole lot of explosions, shall we say, this is just the thing you're looking for. There are workshops, motivational audios, worksheets, and loads more goodies for you. Also, if you need a kick up the butt from time to time. One of the motivational audios we've got, for example, is specific to your morning and getting your sweet ass out of bed, and they will definitely get you going. There are different tiers as well, so you get to choose what level of guidance you'd like. For more details, check out the link in the show notes or go to www.patreon.com/more to life. Can't wait to see you there, queen. And step 3, know that this will pass. Okay, why is this important? Well, just because you're going through a rough time does not mean that your life will be a rough time for forever. That's not how it works. And I know when you are really, really going through some shit, it feels like it's never going to end. But know that you will not feel this way forever. And this isn't exactly an actionable step, but it's more something that you need to know. You have felt happiness before, you will feel happiness again. And sometimes knowing these things helps because you realize you're not alone. By me saying this and by you going, oh, yes, that's true, that I'm another human being. I'm saying these things because I've learned from these things too, which means I've gone through these things. And I'm sure there are plenty of you listening that have also gone through these things. Things can always, always get better. Okay, that was the 3-step process, but here's a little bonus tip. Whatever category of life this situation occurred in, whether it was health, wealth, love, fulfillment, social, whatever, visualize how you want that category to look like. So maybe if it was to do with love, visualize yourself in that happy, fulfilled relationship with your perfect person, because that reinforces in your mind that that is possible. If you think it in your mind, you can hold it in your hands. If you dream it, you can do it. If, all of these quotes that I'm just going to throw at you, but it's so true. Maybe you want to visualize your future self in your ideal friend group with the most aligned friendships that you could even imagine, where your friends are really supportive and close knit, but they're also like wild when it comes to cocktails. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can have it all, whatever feels good to you. All right, time for the quote of the week. As long as you're still breathing, it's not too late to change your story. Ugh, I just love that. I just love that. It definitely applies to dealing with negative situations, but also to your life as a whole. And if you love this quote as well, then comment on my most recent Instagram post from whenever you're listening to this with how you're going to apply that to your life this week. Okay, into our next segment, which is Q&As. This episode's question came in from my Instagram from Jessica. So let me just pull it up here. Okay, Jessica says, I really, really want to up-level my life in many ways, but I just don't think I have the time to do it. Do you have any advice? Okay, this is an issue that so many people deal with, and I have a 2-pronged answer. So I'm going to start off with a hard truth. Anytime you say, I don't have time for X, Y, Z, immediately switch that wording to I'm not prioritizing XYZ, because that allows you to take your power back. For example, Everybody wants to get rich, right? But are you prioritizing getting rich? Obviously, up leveling your life looks different to absolutely everybody. So, how you take this advice will differ depending on your goals. But, like I said in yesterday's episode, consistency is way more important than intensity. So, let's take the getting rich example since I've just mentioned it. You might think, oh, I want to launch a business, I want to monetize my social media, I want to, invest, but I don't know how to invest, so I have to learn how to invest, and yeah, that could be overwhelming, and that is intense, right? But you just want to start off with the baby steps. Like, what can you do today that will bring you even just the tiniest little bit closer? Like, even, you know what? Some people say, what can I do today that will bring me 1% closer to the goal? That's fantastic. But if it's not even at the 1%, my stomach is rumbling. Holy mother of God, that was loud. I don't know if the mic picked up on that. Regardless, if you can't even get it to the 1% level, that's okay too. What if it's like 0.2% better than yesterday? Well, then you're still on the right track. And congratulations. You see what I'm saying? Like, give yourself some credit. Just being consistent with it is the most important thing. It could be a task that takes you 5 minutes or 2 minutes, even if you really are stuck for time. So, to wrap up, if you are struggling with having enough time to do something, make that mindset shift, first of all, from I don't have enough time to I'm not prioritizing. And that will give you the kick in the coochie to reassess. And secondly, consistency over intensity every single time. In conclusion for this episode, the 3-step process to overcoming any negative situation is, first of all, why is this the best thing that could possibly ever happen to me? Second of all, what can I learn from this, or how can I improve for next time? And thirdly, simply realize that this will not last. If you've overcome anything negative before, that is direct feedback that you're strong as hell and you can do it again. Okay? Okay. All right, ladies, I hope you found this episode valuable. And if you've gotten any little golden nuggets from it, then please share it on your Instagram stories. And of course, tag me at More to Life Kate. I would love to hear from you. Also, I haven't even mentioned this yet, but I do have a TikTok for More to Life. So find me over there at More to Life Kate as well. And that's about it. Thank you for listening to episode 2 of the More to Life podcast. I will see you next time, sis. Mwah. Well, thank you so much for listening to the More to Life podcast. It's been an absolute pleasure being a part of your day. And listen, if anything at all resonated with you or was particularly valuable, you'd be doing me a massive favor by leaving a 5-star review on iTunes and, of course, sharing the podcast on your Instagram stories. Make sure to tag me at More to Life Kate and I will repost on my own stories. Don't forget to check out the show notes for all the links and resources. And again, if you want more in-depth, actionable content, feel free to pop over to patreon.com/more to life, which is also linked in the show notes. You'll gain access to exclusive value-packed workshops, motivational audios where I'll absolutely kick your ass into gear, and a lot of other goodies too. I'm so grateful to have you here. See you next time.